Get nozzled out, but I don't know if you guys have a pair of these. Some of them have stickers, some don't. Let's find some stickers. Let's trade these. And for you, nozzles. You have a pair.
I have a pair.
And for you. And I gave you one of. Okay, great. It's yours. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. So I'm Travis. Everybody calls me Trav. I'm from originally from Alabama, a really small town in Alabama that's only known for football. I currently live in Houston. I've been in Houston for almost 2 years. If you're familiar with Houston, Texas. I have been in the Web3 space now for almost 5 years. At the end of the pandemic, I started buying crypto because all of my smart friends were buying crypto. And then the NFT boom happened in 2021, and I was pushed down the rabbit hole of Web3. I'm an artist, so NFTs make sense to me to create and collect. And somewhere along the lines, I discovered nouns, like most of us. You see these glasses, and you see them everywhere, used in a lot of different ways, and you start to get curious, like, what's the deal here? What's up with this? And I found nouns, I did some research, and I realized, wow, these are really out of my price range. Because at the time, they were like 40, 50 ETH, those auctions. A lot of ETH, very expensive. So I was like, well, I'm not gonna own that because I don't have that much ETH to spend on an NFT. And if I did have that much ETH to spend on an NFT, I probably wouldn't. So I just kind of sat on the sidelines, and eventually I discovered Little Nouns. Little Nouns is, I think, the first fork of Nouns DAO. And their whole mission and reason for existence originally was to buy nouns collectively for people who couldn't outright own a noun on their own. As a collective, we could own nouns. That was their original mission. It has kind of evolved since then. But that was my introduction to the nouns ecosystem. And now I'm a member of Lil Nouns, Public Nouns, and Blunt DAO, which people don't realize is a Nounish DAO because they were built using the Nouns builders. So that's a little intro on me and my journey of how I got here so far. I do a lot of marketing and design in this space. I came here looking for my next role. I've been working for a nonprofit the last 3 years that is not in the Web3 space, but I got to use the things I learned in this space to educate university students on how to implement this technology in their future business ideas. So I've been doing that the last 3 years. Unfortunately, that program for that nonprofit dissolved earlier this year. So I've been back to freelancing and really reflecting on the things I've done in this space thus far to educate, to share and educate others. A lot of people are curious about nouns and don't really know. When I started the conversation with people about Nouns DAO, people go, oh yeah, I've seen this, I've heard of this. I don't know how to get involved. So I've been doing a lot of education around that, giving talks this year, kind of refining the talk I'm doing now. This is actually the third in this series of talks I've done this year related to nouns in the ecosystem. Okay, so from my marketing eyes, I've noticed, like most people, that Web3 has a really big onboarding problem, right? There's a lot of barrier, there's a lot of hurdles for someone who is not crypto native getting a wallet, whether it's an abstraction or not, still doesn't make sense to a lot of people. Funding that wallet, right? Then going on chain, making sure you're on the correct chain, or maybe swapping to be on the correct chain, making the transaction, hoping that you got the right contract. There's a number of hurdles for people. All of those hurdles are technical hurdles, right? Oh, somebody's calling. Technical hurdles. But I think the bigger problem is we're too focused on the technical hurdles in this space when we're talking about onboarding. I think that's keeping people from getting in the door in general. So this talk is mostly going to be centered around activating culture to on-ramp people into this space. Because everybody understands culture, whether you understand technology or not. And if you can get on-ramped where you're in the space, eventually you'll learn the rest. But the important piece is to get people in the space. Because a lot of times when we say crypto to people, you know what comes with that. For normies, as they call them, people who are not in this bubble. they think of rugs, scams, et cetera, et cetera. And that keeps a lot of good people and people who could benefit from the perks of this technology away from it, right? So that's kind of what I've been doing. So that's the onboarding problem I've seen. And like I said, what brings people together and what should get people in this space is culture. A good example of that this week, my favorite example thus far this week of that has been the Uniswap Cup. I don't know if you guys were there or heard of that, but Uniswap hosted a soccer tournament on Sunday.
Yes.
It was a beautiful production. Did you go?
No, I've heard of it
Okay.
because I was not here.
Oh, okay. I played for the Zora team. My first football experience. I grew up playing American football because I'm from the South, and that's all we do. So I thought this would be a good cultural exchange for me coming to a new country for the first time, and getting to meet the people and really just enjoying what you enjoy. I love sports of all kinds, so it doesn't matter to me. I would have played hacky sack or whatever they wanted to do. But I think that was a really good opportunity that Uniswap presented to onboard people because, you know, the poly market stuff was going on. They had a poly market for the Uniswap Cup that was over $2 million in volume. Even on social media, I've been on TikTok, which I don't ever get traction for crypto-related things on TikTok. But I've been talking to Uniswap's TikTok account for my posts from their tournament, which is a unique place to have those kind of conversations. Crypto and TikTok really aren't in a good relationship right now, in my opinion. It's like your post about crypto get shadow banned or something if you're on TikTok talking about crypto. Or you just don't have a high ceiling. I don't see often. So I think that was a really good opportunity and a good thing that Uniswap decided to do. And like I said, just another example of activating culture to get people in. Don't worry about the technical stuff. Yes, this is a crypto company. We don't care right now. We're having a football tournament, and all the teams are sponsored by other crypto companies. So all these names you're seeing on the jerseys from these videos and recaps and photos, that will pique people's curiosity, I'm sure, for days and weeks to come. And everybody will find their space in the room once you just get them in the room, right? And so shout out to Uniswap for doing that. Nouns is perfect for activating culture. I am a perfect, I think, testimony of that. They have allowed me to use my creative ideas in partnership with them to on-ramp people by activating culture. Nouns allows for permissionless collaboration because they are CC0. CC0 is the license that their artwork is under, which gives anybody the right to use the artwork for whatever they want to without asking anyone, without any license. You can just do it. They want you to do it because it's only going to give more exposure to the DAOs. The more times people see those glasses, the more touch points you get of seeing those glasses. Eventually, you're going to do like me and go, "What's going on? Like, what are these glasses? Why am I seeing these glasses?" So they allow anybody to use their artwork for the greater good of their ecosystem, which I think is great. So like I wasn't familiar with CC0 as an artist. If any of you are creatives at all, if you know creative friends, I encourage you to show them nouns. It's a great for creatives and people who are not technical, who are looking to get into crypto. This is my favorite project to introduce people to. A lot of the ecosystem is creatives. A lot of those people aren't technical. They're not coders. They're not really hard traders. It's a lot of designers, marketers, musicians, community builders, community leaders. Like even today with the precious knowledge, it's not really technical. Nobody's talking technical things. This is from the NFT project. So nouns, I cannot say it enough. The nouns ecosystem is not just nouns DAO. There's so many sub DAOs now because of how they chose to grow with giving people permission to collaborate with them without permission. If that makes any sense. So let's go over some case studies. My personal experience. Like I said, I've been doing talks this year to raise more awareness about Nouns DAO and their mission. I did one talk that was strictly about creative idea funding. So if you have a creative idea, how to find opportunities in Web3 to fund those ideas instead of like traditional investments. You can partner with these DAOs because they need a lot of help, especially in the marketing area. A lot of people in this space are so technical focused that gets forgotten. But every organization needs marketing. Every organization needs exposure. It doesn't matter how good your product is if no one knows about it. It doesn't matter about how impactful your community is if you're not growing that community because you're not raising awareness of this community and what the community is doing. So that's very important. So I've been doing that through talks this year, recapping on what I've done like now. The second talk I gave was entitled a Nounish combo, and it was strictly about all the different sub-DAOs in the nouns ecosystem. Like I said, public nouns, this is where the regen hub. Public nouns is a public goods focused nouns DAO. So it's the same model. It's an auction, one auction a day. I think theirs is one NFT gets auctioned every day, forever, and 100% of those proceeds from that auction goes into their treasury. If you have an NFT, you have voting power over this treasure. So you get a say in where this money goes. And if you have, I think for public nouns it's 2. If you hold 2 NFTs, you can propose your own ideas. And if you don't have that many, you can find somebody who has that many and they can sponsor your proposal. So I have my proposals all get sponsored because I don't have enough tokens to propose on my own. So I write my proposals and then I tap in with the community and I find, first I get feedback from the community to see if this is aligned, my ideas align with the community and what they think. And if so, I will go ahead and I'll find a sponsor and they will get it sent ahead so it can be voted on. If not, I go back to the drawing board and I rework it until it does align with the community and the community's goals. And that's just collaboration. I feel like that's what needs to be done and this is how it should be done. So once that's put up, people vote on it. I've been fortunate enough to have both of my proposals pass both times and been able to execute them. So the talks I've done actually have not been funded at all. I've just done them because I can collaborate with them permissionlessly. I didn't need anybody's permission to do these talks. But I can also propose later for retroactive rewarding for my talks or leverage this for future proposals. If I want to maybe do a larger series next year or package this up in a way that is on chain where others can mint these talks. But they're on YouTube, so they're available for everyone. I record my talks and I put them up online to just stay aligned with the overall mission of access with CC0. You don't want to gatekeep, you want people to have this information. So I try to make it accessible as possible. My second case study is probably my favorite and my most proud project since I've been in this space, which is a grant program I designed last year that was small grants for public goods focused projects. I did that in partnership with Public Nouns. That was my first proposal for Public Nouns, which is public goods focused nouns down. A lot of the members of this regen community here are in Public Nouns. We did that proposal. We gave out 5 grants to projects all over the world. It was a half an ETH a piece for them to carry out a public goods project of their own that they could do with that amount of money. So we had children in Africa getting clothing, orphans in Africa getting clothing, and they got to have a say in the design of their clothing, which was really good for them. The person who did that proposal is here. She's at the Nouns booth. If you get a chance, her name is Generic. She's a Nigerian woman with blonde hair. So if you see her, talk to her about her proposal that she got the funding for my project. But I got to talk to her about it. We met finally this week, and she got to tell me about the impact that it had on the children in Nigeria because they're orphans and they never get a say in what they wear. They just wear what people give them. So we were able to give them an opportunity to have design input on what they wear. Think about how empowering that is. If you never get that say, we all choose our outfits every day. You get to express yourself however you want through your clothing, but they don't have that opportunity. So we were able to fund that through just a simple on-chain grant program, right? So that was cool. Another good one was in Mexico, we funded free sweat lodge experiences for a quarter. And it wasn't in Mexico City, it's a smaller village in Mexico, but they have these sweat lodges it's a big thing in Mexico. Tezmacali, maybe?
Maybe it's got
The sweat lodge?
Yeah.
Yes. That's a big thing in Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of wellness benefits from that. and we were able to fund that project so they could provide that service for free for a quarter for anyone who wants to come. So just providing more access to things, using NFTs, using community to activate this culture that's going on there locally. And bringing people in. People got awareness about the project and the funding from coming to the experience because they were able to share how they were able to provide this service. So that's another way just onboarding people. It didn't have to be about NFTs. It didn't have to be about crypto. It was about, hey, we're able to do this for you guys because of the NFT project. And if you want to learn more, here's where you can go. So once again, just getting them in the door, not trying to do all the onboarding, the technical onboarding, just doing the bigger onboarding, which is, hey, piquing your interest, right? We just want you here. We want you to be interested enough to learn the technical stuff at some point. And then the last, which is probably one of the most fun events, it was an IRL meetup we did in Brussels last year for ECC. Actually, that same day we did a summit at the Region Hub in Brussels. If anybody was at ECC last year, you were there. Yeah, we did the summit inside. But before that summit, we did a photo walk in partnership with Lil Nouns. I wrote a proposal. They sponsored us to be able to provide a bunch of disposable cameras. And we got a tour guide who was in Brussels, and they gave us a 30-minute walk around Brussels. And we took photos. Everybody had cameras. We took a bunch of disposable photos. So you couldn't be in your phone too long because, when you're using disposables, you can't see it right then anyway. So it keeps you more present and it allowed for more conversation. I feel like more people were off their phones and really connecting. And it wasn't a big group. It might have been 15 of us, but it was impactful, right? You don't need large numbers. You just want large impact. And that's what I think those small, intimate events like the photo walk do and provide. So we did that. It went really well. After the photo walk, we collected all the disposables for everyone. We developed the film ourselves because it was a part of the proposal. We handled the development. And then we minted a piece with all of the photos. So people could then collect that NFT, and 50% of those proceeds went to public nouns. No, I'm sorry. To Lil Nouns Treasury and the public nouns treasury. Just from those little mints, from the people who were there or anybody who wanted to collect that NFT to just commemorate that moment in that event, which I thought was really cool. Another way, like I said, to activate culture, photography culture, sightseeing in the area, right? We didn't get into technical. We didn't require anyone to have an NFT to come to this event. Just show up. Just show up and want to have a good time, want to meet people. Photography, everybody likes taking pictures. I think you take it less serious when it's a disposable. You're a little bit more free. You're not so uptight about it because you're not going to be able to see it anytime soon anyway. So that was really cool. And if you're a region, which I imagine some of you may be since we're in the region, once again, I can't stress enough, Nouns is perfect. They are CCO. They are as region as it gets, in my opinion. They're all about access, providing things, public goods wherever public goods are needed or wanted. They fund things from glasses for children who need them to schools in Africa. And I love how big the ecosystem is. Don't just stop at Nouns DAO. Find the other DAOs, because the thing about the sub DAOs is they have specific missions. Now that they're smaller DAOs, they can have just one specific mission and hone in on that and focus on that, which I think creates for a better impact and a larger impact because you have such a clear focus. Where Nouns DAO itself is very broad. They just fund creative ideas, right? We have public DAOs, which is focused on public goods. You have NARS DAO, which is based, they're based mostly in Brazil. They're focused on action sports, NARS DAO. So whatever your interest is, there might be a Nouns DAO for you, and if it's not, that's incentive for you to create that Nouns DAO and build that community, in my opinion. And you may be able to get funding from Nouns or another sub DAO to fund your treasury or whatever your idea is. So it's worth looking at. If you have these ideas to build community, to provide services, to provide a public good, just do a little diving in the Nouns ecosystem and see what's out there already. Find your home, and if your home isn't there in the Nouns ecosystem, I think that's just reason for you to build it, right? And 9 times out of 10, you're gonna find someone else who's aligned with that interest, and they'll help you along the way. Because everyone in the Nouns journey, on the Nouns ecosystem, from my experience, has been extremely helpful. People love finding people. People in the Nouns ecosystem love finding people who are interested about the Nouns ecosystem, but don't know where to start. So it's a good place to start your journey. This is what I do: marketing, growth. I really focus on onboarding right now and solving this onboarding issue outside of just the technical part of onboarding, the larger picture. So if anybody here is with a team that is doing that or having issues there, I would love to talk to you guys. That's why I came down here to this conference, to look for those opportunities. You can get my contacts after this. I'm very easy to find. So I just wanted to say that because, like I said, I think everybody talks about the technical onboarding hurdles, but I do not hear enough conversation about the larger picture of onboarding for people who aren't here. So, once again, stay Nounish. Being Nounish is doing good without the expect of a return. Just doing good for the sake of doing good. Providing access and staying a little, keeping fun in life. That's the Nounish. That's being Nounish. Keeping a little fun about things, being creative, providing help, not expecting anything, just doing good for the sake of doing good. So yeah, that's my last reminder, my last point. Thank you guys for just listening to Yap. Hopefully something stuck. Yeah, thank you. And if you didn't get a pair of nozzles, I'm gonna leave them here. Take some nozzles. It's a great conversation starter. There's some stickers in here I designed as well, from public nouns and little nouns. So, yes. Any questions or anything anybody want to ask that I might be able to answer about nouns, the ecosystem? No questions?
Where did I found the subnouns?
Nouns.world is a great place.
Nouns.world.
It covers the whole ecosystem, nouns.world. And also there's a nouns booth inside the conference. It's
Yellow pavilion.
yeah, it's like in the corner.
Far back left corner.
Back right
Very
corner.
back.
In the green, yeah, the green area. So just go by there and talk. There's
Next
a lot
to
of
the
people
main
from the whole
stage.
ecosystem.
All right.
And Nouns Amigos are Spanish speaking. Now, are you familiar with Nouns Amigos? Okay, yeah, they're at the booth too. So they might be able to do a better job than me because I'm not a good Spanish speaker and I know I'm in a Spanish speaking country. And thank you guys for your patience with me with that.
Yeah.
Thank
Sure.
you.
Thank you.
Very good.